Hello and welcome to this week's episode of So Fired. I'm Chelsea Toronto.
I'm Dr. Lindsay right here.
And welcome.
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Great.
Happy Thanksgiving post.
So good to see your face again.
I know, I missed you.
I know, I missed you too.
I go in such a depressed state.
We literally didn't talk for a week.
I know, it's too much.
Yeah, way too long.
I like brace to be in that like depressive underwater state until you get back. Even if we don't talk, I'm like, it's okay when I know you're in town. Anyway.
I'm right down the road.
So fired. Do you
so
have
fired. Yeah. So
That's a great way to start.
without going into too many specifics, because there's a lot of things in the work, I made a really big decision over the holiday weekend, and something really big is on the horizon, something in the works, and just to like have it concretely out there and tell people about it in my circle has been like very freeing and very exciting for me. So I've been kind of like teetering on some things, and it was just like good to get the support and acknowledgement that like, all right, like you can do this, like you got it, let's go. So I'm very excited for what the new year is bringing.
Great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
I was so fired.
Okay.
So last week I accompanied my friend to their tattoo appointment. As I've mentioned in the past, I am looking forward to getting a tattoo in the next few weeks. So we went and I was talking to the artist and was trying to give my vision. I could see that it didn't really land. They didn't really get it. So I took it upon myself just to draw my own tattoo. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
I can second it. It's a great tattoo. Okay, you guys, you have to see this on YouTube. Where is it?
Can you see that? That's going to be it. It's a zipper. It was. I'll tell you another time why zippers are. Okay, anyway, so zippers kept appearing in my life, and they just signified like when I needed an external reminder that I could accomplish my dreams, it would just fall out of nowhere. So, and I found like 40. So I'm going to get the zipper right here, and then the other part right here. There's a lot of details, but anyway, so
on one zipper on one wrist, and then the zipper
Stop.
teeth on the other wrist.
Oh, the teeth are going to be behind the
Oh,
neck.
teeth are behind the neck. Okay.
So I'm like unzipping my skin, and then the stop, right, which is that little square right there.
Yeah.
So I can't believe I drew my own, and I absolutely love it because there's nothing out there that really represents it. So I was looking for like a zipper meets like a Wes Anderson aesthetic.
And now I know what that aesthetic is.
It's kind of cartoony, and it's not perfect, thin lines. Yeah. So just like me.
I'm so excited for you.
I am too. So yeah, it was so celebrating my my uniqueness, and like I can always look to myself first as a resource.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to end up getting a tattoo while you're there because they'll be like, oh, you have 20 minutes? Sure.
Yeah.
Throw something on me.
So figure out what you're going to get.
I know.
Are you going to get like an arrow?
No, I want Austin to draw a little heart, and then I want that heart to be on my finger.
That's adorable. Everybody's DIYing their own tattoo.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
So Thanksgiving passed, but that means we are ushered into the holiday season.
Officially.
Yes.
Yep.
You must be thrilled.
I'm so pumped.
That's great.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be happy.
Because I am moving on from pumpkin pie to sugar cookies. My next favorite food category of the holidays.
Mine is a pumpkin log. So like a pumpkin with like a cream cheese filling.
Yeah, where you like roll it. I would try to make those, but I'm such a bad baker, and I
don't think you even try.
That's because if it's not perfect, I don't want to serve it.
Oh, well, look at that. Doesn't that segue into today's topic?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were sitting on the edge of your seat wondering what today's episode is all about, it's about perfectionism. And with this holiday season, oftentimes it ramps up or amps up people's feeling of perfectionism.
Yeah. I know when we were talking about this a little bit earlier, how perfectionism shows up with like comparison and expectations.
Well, let's do this.
Yeah.
Why don't we define it? We'll all go around in a circle and we'll all define it.
Okay. You go first.
No, you go first.
No, you go first.
It's always about me.
Okay, fine. I'll say perfectionism is lack of action because you don't feel prepared.
Whoa, shit. Jessi, what is your definition of perfectionism?
I think perfectionism, I think it depends on the person. So that's the thing, is I think it shows up differently for different people. So I think for some people, perfectionism is like an obsession about having things a certain way and being very particular. I think for other people, it's lack of action because they don't feel prepared, and then they won't do anything because it's not going to be perfect.
Wow. Okay. And to round this out,
you?
I believe perfectionism is the comparison to others or external, like an external, it's the comparison to others. And if we, what, let me try this again. It is the comparison to others and the feeling of falling short of
Because
either
you're comparing to like a standard that doesn't apply to you because it's not about you.
That's right. So, and of course it always goes back to Instagram. And so if that is where I'm getting my approval or those are the standards that I am trying to mimic, I'm never going to be successful because those are curated examples.
Mhm.
And then like as perfectionism relates to the holidays on Instagram is such a visual.
Oh, yeah. It's like, this is my Christmas tree in this room. This is how I decorated my table. This is how I did my mantle. And then I'm like, well, shit, now I have to get way more decorations.
Look at the
'Cause
Jenners.
everybody looks like a Hallmark movie, and I'm like, my tree doesn't have ornaments because my cats knock down my tree every year and I don't want them to break.
Right. You should make like a garland of,
They'll
right?
reach it.
They can reach the ceiling.
If they try hard enough, I know they will.
Cats are crazy.
Wow,
you
cats
know?
are crazy.
My mom just got a cat, and so I am learning all about the cat world.
Mine
They'll
can jump
climb
to
on
the
anything.
mine can jump to the top of the fridge from the floor.
What?
So like I feel like I have not normal cats. I don't know.
I don't know. I think my mom can do that. It like leaps from the countertop
Yeah.
across onto the thing. It's unbelievable. She's like, they knock everything down. So she's watching YouTubes on how to celebrate Christmas with your cat.
Oh my God. They
They
sound like spider monkeys.
they really
flying
do.
through the
It's
air.
incredible, their athletic abilities.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay, so I'm not going to take action on making you a pumpkin log because,
okay, well that doesn't count.
I
That's
know.
what my mom's for.
yeah, that's what your mom's for. But same thing with like you're having expectations from others. Like, okay, I want to get this person a gift, but then I don't even know them that well to get them a gift. So like, should I get them a gift or should I give them a gift card or should I like do this? And then I'm like, how much money should I spend on it? Is this too much? Are they going to get me something? I'm like, oh my God, like it doesn't matter. It's not that deep.
If that was something like a thought you would have just in August without the pressure of the holidays, that would be very taxing to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've got that pressure of like the holiday season, regardless of what you're celebrating, there is that pressure of like what looks perfect. And in my opinion, as perfectionism relates to the holidays, it's the external appearance and then feeling responsible for other people's feelings,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you think of the moms, maybe you grew up with I grew up with a mom that everything had to look perfect. And then if it didn't look perfect, that is failing others. Right. And so that she has so kindly distilled that, like,
So
instilled
she's
that in
passed
me.
that perfectionism habit onto you.
Yeah.
And I think there's also like a transition from when you're a kid to an adult and then the expectations change. Like, okay, when you come home from college, you're still a kid. So there's not an expectation
Right.
to like contribute that much or maybe buy that much stuff. But then it's like, what's the age where that flips the script and
Right.
you're like, well, now I can buy you nicer things, but like, is that offensive to you if I like buy you too much stuff or am I spending too much money or am I not like doing enough? So I just like never really know what the
It's
happy
exhausting.
medium is.
It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Mhm.
I feel like the holiday is really tough for me. Even as a child, I found them to be a very depressive state, but it's just an opportunity. It's a season of my mom's to judge me.
Tis the season to be judged. La 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 la.
Like she's always like eager to judge to begin. You guys have to understand, like I have a solid relationship with her, and like to be able to joke about this just means I've learned to accept it.
Mhm.
It doesn't hurt like it used to. Now I find humor in it. And because of the way my marriage was, like he didn't even celebrate Christmas.
That's wild.
Wild.
Or any holiday.
So whatever efforts I did would fall on deaf ears.
Mhm.
And then I just kind of gave up. And now, like, there are times I don't even have a tree. There are times where we don't even exchange gifts.
Well, if that's agreed upon, that's okay.
It's
but
not.
It's not.
It's not. Let me rephrase. He wouldn't get me gifts.
And that
This
was
is
not
another
that was
episode.
not
y'all.
agreed upon.
Even
Yeah.
like, okay, so now you're working with past expectations and future. Now, this is just not about me, right?
Mhm.
I mean, like other people are dealing with their childhood expectations, whether it's from their parents or siblings or just like Instagram. And then what's the reality?
I know. I think there's also like Christmas cards and everything on Instagram too. Like you have to have like picture perfect family, get the matching PJs for everyone, make sure your dog has a set as well,
Right.
and then send that out to everyone. I stopped doing Christmas cards because it's honestly just like too much work.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, should I send it to this person or not this person?
And you're not getting them anymore, are you?
No.
I mean, I
I
don't
mean,
mean to, like, are you
oh,
getting
well,
them?
yeah, I get like a few, like a handful, just from like certain people who
I bet
are always
we
taking
know that
photos.
person that still sends one.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
my friend.
No.
Oh,
Which friend?
Lindsay.
No.
Oh.
RB.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Totally.
still sends them.
Yeah, for sure.
There's just like certain people who like love taking photos and always have their shit together to get the family
I know.
photos.
That's just the thing. Do they have their shit together, or is that just something they feel strongly about?
I know.
Like, do I
Or
not
is
have
that
my
just-
shit together because I
right?
don't send one?
Or they're like, I have to do this.
Okay, so can I, like, can we talk about, you mentioned the word should,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that is a big word when talking about perfectionism, whether it's like the holidays or just like who we are as people. So there are like one way to kind of like, if you're interested in unpacking your perfectionism, one way to do this is shifting the word should. So shifting the word should, like if you find yourself saying I should, maybe take a second. If you remember, take a beat. Who says you should?
Mm-hmm.
Like where does
Yeah,
this
where
should come?
did this come from?
Keep or reject what you think you're about to do, what you think you need to do. And then what will be the result if you do in fact reject that should?
Okay, let's do an example.
Do you have a should?
I should celebrate the holidays with my family and be very happy about it all the time.
Says who?
Like other people's friends of mine who are like, oh my God, like me and my mom go do this. And like, we're going to go do this together. And just seeing other people's expectations. Hallmark movies get me every time.
Funny enough, as much as you love them,
I know. I'm like, they really put on an expectation like, well, it should be this and this. Honestly, most of them are more like love stories than
Yeah.
anything.
yeah.
But there still is the thing of like, I had to come home and live with my mom because I gave up my career as a lawyer in Chicago. And now it's like so good to bond with her and make cookies all year long.
Okay, so let's say you do, okay, so you acknowledge says who. What if you reject that notion?
I mean, I feel like in the moment, I'll be scared out of my mind as to the judgment and what's going to
Whose
happen.
judgment?
Family judgment.
But do you care?
Not really, because like, I mean,
You don't care 364 days of the year.
I know, but for some reason, they put so much pressure on like, you're going to be home for Christmas, right? Like, come home for Christmas. I don't know why, like, they have so much put into Christmas time. And I decided I'm going to go home for like a day and a half, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 days at the most.
And what's the result going to be?
I mean, I'm going to be like feeling really good. I'm going to feel a little guilty at first because I just know that they have this power to make me feel guilty. So I have to try to like take that back. But I'm going to feel very chill and relaxed and just enjoy my time off.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
It causes you a lot of anxiety.
it does. Like, I think about it a lot. Like, maybe once fall hits, that's when it really starts coming in as to, okay, what are our plans for Christmas? Are we driving home?
So
or
the
flying
anxiety
home?
starts how many months ahead of
Like
time?
3 months ahead of time.
Like a whole quarter of your
Yeah.
year.
I know.
That's a long time, prolonged time to feel anxiety.
Yeah. And it's like very low level, but then it amps up.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Where I feel perfectionism is the fact that I don't really have a family,
Yeah.
especially during the holidays. So with my mom moving to Mexico
Mm-hmm.
and like things kind of being on rocks with my brother, I'm like, I'm an orphan.
Yeah.
And like Christmas is on family, family. And I'm like, oh, I don't. So like at the very foundation, like fundamental, I'm like, I got none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Jessi, what about you? Do you feel any pressure, perfectionism when it comes to the holidays?
I used to a lot more. Mostly when like my eating disorder was bad, I was like, so I'm
Sure.
pretty much always having a giant mental breakdown during the holidays, but not really so much pressure anymore. I do get really nervous about gifts for people, but usually I just give, if I don't know what to get someone, I give them a rock. And then they have to be like, well, it is cool, I guess, whether they like it or not.
Like a
Like
special
a
kind
rock
of
or a
rock?
crystal. Yeah.
Crystal?
Like
Yeah.
something that like looks pretty, and then they can be like, I guess it's cool, and I'll be like, yeah, there you go.
Oh, I'm just going to get rocks for everyone on my Christmas list. And you will
'cause
like it.
what are they gonna say? Like, oh my God, that's ugly? No, it's like objectively pretty looking.
That's because you live in a perfect family. If I did that, like I have spent a ton of money, like
No,
post
I'm talking
college.
about friends.
Oh.
I do get nervous about gifts for my parents, so I tell
Yeah.
my dad to make an Amazon wish list and send it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
It's funny, the reversal of like to my mom, send me your Santa wish list.
Well-
So I don't, because there were times where I spent like close to $300 on this like designer Western shirt that she admired so much. It's called Double D. And I got it and she was like,
Well, and my parents get mad if they think I spent too much money because then they're like, that's not in your budget.
you have a good
Yeah,
family.
You do. I remember one time I bought my mom a spa day, like a massage and something, and she's like, oh, okay. I'm pretty sure she never used it.
Don't you
Oh
hate
my
that?
God.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
really?
do have a pretty well-adjusted family though, but it's because I made them all go to therapy with me during my
The
mental
fact that you
breakdown
can make
period.
somebody go to therapy is impressive.
Well, they'd already been to therapy by like previously. I'm very lucky to have people that are willing to go to therapy.
Yeah. I often wish that my brother would consider it because I really think it could turn the tables around for us.
I made an appointment for my brother.
Yeah. Again,
But I don't
I'm
think
envious.
that would work on your brother at all.
No, he's kind of a very stubborn individual.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, this isn't
yeah.
about my family.
Well, but
dynamic.
it's because
I'm
I'm
just like,
the
I
reason-
wouldn't take my family to therapy because I'm fine with how things are.
well,
I
the
would
reason-
encourage him to go by himself. Sorry, go ahead.
So, no, you're fine. I'm really bad about interrupting people. I do it all the time on accident. The reason that my family is so like normal is because I'm the problem.
I'm the
Are
problem
you?
too.
I am the problem.
I am the problem.
you
You're all
know,
the problems.
You were the problem.
I am the problem, and everybody kind of adapted. I'm still probably the biggest problem if there is a problem. It's like a thing.
So you're comparing yourself to some type of standard that might be unrealistic. Is that a possibility?
No. I'm just definitely like the most difficult person in my family. And I've gotten better about it. But like I'm the one that people are happy to be like, oh my God, will Jessi be okay with this?
Oh, so you're the most opinionated.
Yeah.
If anything, they're trying to appease you the most.
I'm not allowed to talk to some of my relatives at like dinners. They're like, you cannot talk to Uncle so-and-so because you're going to start a fight.
Well, they should learn how to have a conversation. That's on them.
Yeah.
Well, part of it is when I get into talking about things that I like, I'm pretty like passionate in my communication style. But
Sure.
you two have seen a little bit of that.
Yeah, I like it.
I admire it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you
I'm not
disagree
that
with me
passionate about
though,
anything.
then you feel like if you disagree with me, you feel like I'm attacking you.
But we don't have that enough in society anymore.
No, I think people should be attacked more often.
I do too. We are
Like-
creating like a generation of children who don't know how to deal with like disagreements or strife.
I
So almost like
totally
perfectionism.
agree. Like as an
Right?
elder Gen Z, some of the weird shit that the younger Gen Z, they're like, that's not okay. And I'm like, that is not the thing that you think it is. Sorry, that's not it.
Right. Right. Like my generation was like, you're not happy. Tough. Is that unfair? Tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I often heard life isn't fair. I think a lot of people have heard
Yeah,
that.
I've heard that before. Nothing in life's free. Nothing in life is fair.
But it's a good
Yeah.
lesson.
Right.
It's unfortunate when you hear it at the time and you're like, oh, that's not reasonable.
When you're
but
like
I'm
a
like,
kid
no.
and you're like, how come my favorite ice cream flavor was sold out? And they're like, life isn't fair. And you're like, what?
it is a good mantra to remember as you do become an adult.
Right.
My concern is for younger generations where it's like, no one's been telling you it's not fair.
Well, so
Yeah.
I think that my generation has been told it's not fair. They're just
Oh.
like, I'm going to try to make it fair. And maybe they overcorrect it a little bit.
Yeah.
What's an example?
Let me think. I would say like, I use TikTok as an example because that's like there's lots of people on there that aren't Gen Z, but TikTok is kind of run by Gen Z. And I think
Totally.
just how reactionary TikTok is about the weirdest stuff, where it's like, yes, when someone does something shitty and they're in the public eye, maybe they do need to be held accountable. Or if someone is doing something that they don't know isn't cool, you should probably let them know. But you don't have to like lose your shit over everything because you're trying to make it fair for whatever group you feel like is being targeted, when people in that group don't even care about what was said or done because they're like, oh, that's not offensive to me. But somebody else is like, I find that offensive to you.
Right. It
Yeah.
does feel like a mob mentality.
I don't know if it's a.
It
I
just
think
feels
it's
like they're coming for you with like pitchforks and they're like, on behalf of so and so, we cancel this.
I get
right?
that, but it's like less than a mob. It's literally like there's a few, and then other people are like, I guess if they're not okay with it, I shouldn't be okay with it. And like mostly, I think people are just confused.
They're not educated.
Not educated.
I'm
Or
not saying they're
they
uneducated.
get
They
it.
just might not be educated on whatever topic.
Or they get all
It's-
their education from like TikTok.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's like
Right.
you gotta read a book also, or like an article. Like
51.
I'm in some activist circles, but I like read the papers and the academic literature and all the manifestos. Like you gotta read the stuff.
Yeah, you do really.
Yeah.
It behooves you to be educated.
It
So they
does.
say.
As they're taking perfectionism to a whole nother level. Like everything's going to be a fair playing field. No one's going to be offended. If anyone is offended, we're going to overcorrect the
It's so,
offensiveness.
yeah, it's like a vacuum of what they've defined as perfection.
Well, and
Right,
I
like-
also I feel like now being personally offended is starting to translate into being morally offended, whereas I find those different. If I'm personally offended, like I'm hurt and maybe we'll have a conversation, but if I figure out that's not what your intentions were, then like we're cool probably, depending on what
But
happens.
not everybody's like that.
Not everybody is like that, but I've seen people get canceled for personally offending someone instead of like, if someone does something morally wrong and you're morally offended, I can understand why, if it's something really bad, you might be like, don't interact with this person or follow this person. Like they said the N-word like yesterday, you know? Like I get that. But if it's like they said something that I didn't like that has nothing to do with my morals, it just has to do with me.
Right. Seems like a Facebook move.
Yeah. So Facebook. Instead of being a Karen, it's like, you're so Facebook.
I do think that should be a phrase.
Yeah.
Let's take the spotlight off of Karen. So holidays, right?
Yeah. Holidays, perfection all around. I think it is good to look through that lens that you're talking about when you say, like, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. Just either keep it or reject it and decide who's even telling you those things. And then what's the result if you just do what you want to do?
Mm-hmm. Even without the holidays,
Right.
perfectionism is somewhat of the currency on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is, everyone trying to strive to this like fake definition.
I can't, don't even like get me started on how burned out and annoyed I am on Instagram at the moment because
Even like the other podcasters that we kind of
yeah.
try and emulate or inspired by,
Uh-huh.
they leave me feeling insecure and not enough and like somewhat of a failure.
Right.
So like we were saying off air, it might be easier if we just realigned us with like someone like with podcasters that might maybe not.
That are not in that personal development space, but are just in like real life relatable space. Because I'm finding this group that we've been following for such a long time to be so unrelatable. Just to tie it back to perfectionism again, there's always a course to be sold, and there's always something to be selling.
A way
And
of
it's like
improving yourself.
a way of
Are you
improving yourself?
suggesting I am like perpetually not perfect enough?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you buy this, perfect. You have the blueprint and you'll be good to go. And I can tell you for a fact, I've bought so many courses and I'm like, this is stupid. Like halfway through, I'm like, so just be myself and do what I want to do. And then like, if I'm having fun doing it, it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole industry.
That is like literally all you need to know in a nutshell.
I swear, yeah. I mean, like the whole industry, and I have been like a card carrying member at the front of the line, like, yes, 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 manifest. All you're telling me is in a very gentle, like mauvey, scripty meme that I'm not perfect, I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny? The irony is that they're telling us we're not good enough.
Yep.
And like the tattoo, like the imperfection is kind of like
It's very like symbolic of how you live your life and how things should really be.
That's where we should
taken.
celebrate things,
Yeah.
right?
Like celebrate things in like the fuzziness and the messiness instead of like always striving to get that perfect accomplishment.
But maybe it's not messy.
Right.
Maybe it's just not their definition. Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, they're just trying to make money. It's a very commercial definition of their success. Because that industry, their definition of success all looks the same.
Yeah.
Right? It's a blanket expectation. And I wish we could just remind ourselves that that's not real. But I won't remember that. When I get it on Instagram in 6 minutes.
I know, I'll be like,
I'm a
oh, wait,
failure.
what do I need to do? Oh, I have to do this. Oh my God, I have to do this reel too. Oh my gosh, okay. Yeah.
And just like Halloween, remember we said we kind of don't like it? There's a lot of things about Christmas I'm like, that makes me feel bad. Like the Hallmark movies, I'm like, I want love too.
Yeah.
I would move to a small town. I want to be a baker. So we keep looking to the left or the right, whatever way that is, just because we wrote our notes over there. So just in case you want to know. So traditions often mean expectations.
Yep.
Can we redefine our personal? I mean, like, why do I still feel like a child?
I know.
When am I going to
That
feel like an
is-
adult? And I think you might have the opportunity to feel like an adult when you're like, nope, this doesn't work for me anymore. A day and a half is what you're getting.
Yep.
Which day and a half are you giving them? Like Christmas Day?
No.
Solid.
No, because what day is Christmas on?
Ooh.
Saturday? I don't know, but we're driving on a Saturday. We'll stay in Madison with.
It's a Sunday.
Okay, so we will be at my parents' house on Monday. Monday to Tuesday, and then back down to see friends.
It would be a little, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I do want to see one of my high school friends, so I might have to like come back up again. But yeah, I mean,
You
that's
might
kind
feel
of like,
more. And adult doesn't necessarily mean like, in my opinion, it's like I make decisions based on what works for me.
yes,
I may never
that
be an
is-
adult.
that's what I try to do, and then we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So the question is, how are our listeners going to buck perfectionism? Do you identify with what we're talking about? One, like, do you feel perfectionism kind of kick up or increase during the holiday season? And if so, what are some of the expectations that you've put on yourself that you could potentially dial down or even let go?
Those are all great questions.
Do you have a question you would ask them?
Nope, those are all of them. Yeah, I will post those.
Yeah. And like, do you like the holidays? And if you do, what do you like about them?
Asking for a friend.
A friend of mine wants to know, why do you like them? So yeah, that's
what we have.
that's
Perfectionism in the holidays.
let's find perfectionism in the fuzziness. Like
Okay.
fuzzy slippers, fuzzy sweaters.
Fuzzy boots. Oh, fuzzy blanket. Oh, fuzzy boots. Well, we will be back next time.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Enjoy them.
And make sure you rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast because it really helps us out with spreading the message and continue to podcast and do this every week.
That would be a great holiday gift.
That would be.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Disclaimer. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The stories and statements expressed herein are experiences and opinions. They may not represent the views of the production studio or the hosts. If you disagree with our content, that's okay. No podcast is perfect for everyone.